Then governance of higher education institutions by highly qualified independent boards having academic and administrative autonomy. The main thing in NEP is light but tight regulatory bodies. Light but tight regulatory bodies by a single regulator for higher education. Then they are planning for increased access, equity, and inclusion through a range of measures, including more opportunities for understanding public education, scholarships by private or philanthropic universities for disadvantaged and underprivileged students. Online education, as you know, during this pandemic we faced so much, and they opted for online education. So to promote such things, then distance education, then all infrastructure and learning materials which are accessible and available to learners with disabilities. See, a major reforms what they are planning in this higher education is, you know about primary education under NEP, it is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. That means to say, a child can start his her education after 3 years, 3 to 8 years. That means the first 5 years they will be in primary, which is called as pre-primary. Then 5 plus 3. Next 3 years. Next 3 years is called as primary. Next 3 years is the middle primary. Then the last 2 years is the secondary education, plus 2. Only after they become 18 years, they can be eligible for moving to any of the graduation courses. So 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. That 4 years is divided into 2 phases. 9th and 10th is one phase, 11th and 12th is the second phase. That is what in UG program, what we are planning is, they'll be planning for either 3 years degree or 4 years degree, and PG program for 1 year or 2 years. If they have undergone 3 years of UG program, they have to take 2 years in PG. If they have taken 4 years UG program, then they can take only 1 year PG program. So totally it is 5 years. And they are also planning for integrated 5 years bachelor's or master's degree, and MPhil. MPhil anyway now also it is not there, and that will be discontinued under NEP. Then they are planning for academic bank of credits. This is very, very important. A student can study third year subjects in the second year itself, and he can have that credit bank. Then later he can utilize before completing his degree. That is called as academic bank of credits. So they will be introducing that. Then all higher education institutions, they will made as research intensive, teaching intensive universities and autonomous degree granting colleges. They are divided into 3 things. First one is research intensive institutions. Second is teaching intensive universities. The third one is autonomous degree granting colleges. And they are planning for MERU. The expansion of that is multidisciplinary education and research university. So VTU is only a technological university right now, isn't it? So later under NEP, there won't be any particular degree granting university. All multidisciplinary universities will come into picture. And now for the entire state, only one VTU we have, only one technical university we have. But under NEP, each district will have their own universities, and they will be granting the degrees. Next major reforms are graded autonomy, and they will be going for academic, administrative and financial autonomy to all the institutions. Phasing out affiliation systems in 15 years. The National Mission on Mentoring, Independent Board of Governors, single regulatory body for higher education, then online self-disclosure based transparent system for approvals in place of inspections, common norms for public and private higher educational institutions. Then they will be going for private philanthropic partnerships, fee taxation within board regulatory framework, and they want to have GDP of 6% at the earliest. Public investment in education sector to reach 6% of GDP at the earliest. Next, they are planning for National Research Foundation, internationalization of education. Internationalization is now many people are going abroad for their higher studies, right? So they are planning for bringing outside country people to India, so that we will also be on par with other developed countries. Next, internationalization of education, integration of vocational, teacher and professional education, setting up of new quality higher education institutions, and it will be made easier. And there will be standalone higher education institutions also. They will be evolving as multidisciplinary institutions. Then they will go for special education zone for disadvantaged reasons. Special education zone for disadvantaged reasons means, see, Bangalore is the developed area, we can understand. If any the rural areas, if you have, take for example Gulbarga, Bidar and all, so many people are not reaching out to get the quality of education from the cities whatever we have now. So they will be building up good universities in such areas also. Next, National Institute for Poly, Persian and Prakrit, National Educational Technology Forum. They will be going for one forum called as National Educational Technology Forum. Then MHRD, Ministry of Human Resource Development. It will be named as Ministry of Education. Now MHRD is looking after many other things other than education. So later there will be one Ministry of Education which will be concentrating only on higher education. This is the perspective of higher education institutions under NEP. So there will be three types of universities as I told you. First one is the research universities, second one is the teaching universities, the third one is autonomous colleges. Next there will be focus on Indian knowledge system, languages, culture and values. Did you have Indian knowledge system in your curriculum? You have, yeah. That's it. In 2020 it started, no? They introduced that. So many of the students, they will be not knowing what was India earlier and how it is reformed now. So in order to make the students to understand such things, they have introduced Indian knowledge system as one of the subjects for all undergraduate students. So and they will be focusing on literature and scientific vocabulary of Indian languages. Then there will be language faculty and there will be research on languages, and they want to strengthen the national institutes for promotion of classical languages and literature. Then they will be building Indian Institute of Translation and Interpretation (IITI). Then they will be having subjects on cultural awareness of our Indian knowledge systems, promoting traditional arts and lok vidya, and all higher education systems, schools or school complexes will have artist in residence, so that students can spend their time in learning some arts after the class hours. Then they will be using the technologies in education planning, teaching, learning and assessment. Then in administration and management, how to utilize this technology, they will be implementing such things. Then they'll have regulation bodies like self-disclosure and minimum human interface they will be going for. Then increasing access for disadvantaged groups. What do you mean by disadvantaged groups? Any idea? Physically handicapped or mentally retarded. Such people are called as disadvantaged groups. For them, they will increase the access for education. Then Divyang friendly education software. Divyang means physically handicapped people. For such people also they are introducing some education software so that they can also learn on par with other students. E-content in all regional languages. Then they are going to develop some virtual labs. Students wherever they are, they can access the lab facilities and they can do the experiments. Then National Education and Technology Forum, they are going to have the Council of National Education and Technology Forum. Digitally equipping schools, teachers and students, they are planning for. Now let us see what will be the outcome of this NEP. Universalization from ECE, Early Childhood Care Education, to secondary education by 2030, aligning with SDG 4. Attaining foundational learning and numeracy skills through national mission by 2025. 100% gross in enrollment ratio in preschool to secondary level by 2030. As we all know, there are some rural areas in which children will not get into school at all, right? So in order to bring back such students to schools or such children to the school, they have plans of 100% gross enrollment ratio in preschool to secondary level by 2030. They'll go to school and they'll drop out in primary itself. They don't even go to the secondary education after the high schools. So in order to bring back such students to the schools, they have some ideas and that will be implemented by 2030. Bring back 2 crores of out of school children. Many of you may be knowing this, right? Almost around 2 crores of children, they will not be going to the school. So we'll have to bring back such students to make them educated. So teachers to be prepared for assessment reforms by 2023, inclusive and equitable education system by 2030, and board exams to test core concepts and application of knowledge. Every child will come out of school adopting at least one skill. That is why we have even our college also has developed skill development lab, which will be opening from next week, right? Yeah, HOD will be briefing out on that skill development lab, and all the institutions have to have such labs in future. Common standards of learning in public and private schools. Whether they are learning in public or private schools, there will be common standards henceforth. In the nutshell, if you see this NEP, it will be having multidisciplinary universities, national ranking frameworks, holistic education, that means overall growth of any student, then experiential learning, higher education council, technology integration. Then each student will develop life skills, conceptual understanding, technology integration, experiential learning, critical thinking, and MOE, Ministry of Education. And they will be integrated the program for 4 years for teacher education. And the new structure, as I told you, it is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, Indian knowledge system. There will be formative assessment. Summative assessment and formative assessment, you know, right? Formative assessment, then multiple entry and exit options. So in this multiple entry and exit options, what will happen is, if a student enters an undergraduate program, if he completes 2 years of his studies, then he will be awarded with diploma degree. Okay, he need not continue his education for the next 2 years. If he completes first 2 years, he will be awarded with some diploma degree. Then if he continues further, he will be awarded with the degrees. That is called as multiple entry and exit options, and he can choose the subjects of his choice, choice-based education. And these are the key areas of focus: professional education, adult education, and there will be lifelong learning, promotion of Indian languages, arts and culture, technology use and integration, online and digital education, ensuring equitable use of technology. Yeah, the main advantages, if you see, the government aims to make schooling available to everyone with the help of NEP 2020. So 2 crore school students will be able to come back to educational institutes through this new approach. For children up to the age of 8, a national curricular and pedagogical framework for early childhood care and education will be designed and developed by NCERT, that is the National Council for Education Reforms. Then one of the merits of NEP is formation of national book promotion policy in India. So across India there will be same type of education for all the states. Appropriate authorities will conduct the school examinations for grades 3, 5 and 8. The board exams for grades 10 and 12 will continue, but the NEP 2020 aims to redesign the structure with holistic development. So whatever they are conducting now, that will be removed. For holistic development, they will be designing the examination structure for 10th and 12th. Next, it is also planning for gender inclusion fund, special education zones for disadvantaged regions, and groups is also in the focus list. Then there will be special daytime boarding school, Bal Bhavans. They will be established in every state or every district in India. And these boarding schools, they will be used for participation in activities related to play, career, arts, etc. Then SSSA, State School Students Standards Authority, will be set up by the states or universities. Then according to this National Education Policy 2020, academic bank of credits will be established. The credits earned by the students can be stored, and when the final degree gets completed, they will be counted. So once it is implemented, you will get to know all these things. So as of now, you at least know the words academic bank of credits, ABC, such things you should know. Then multidisciplinary education and research universities, MERUs will be developed in all the districts, and they will be at par with IITs and IIMs, and they will be scheduled to set up for introducing multidisciplinary academics. Then accreditation and regulation rules will be used for guiding both the public and private academic bodies. Phased out college affiliation and autonomy will be granted to colleges. Then by 2030, it will be made mandatory to have at least a 4-year BA degree for all the teachers, those who are aspirants of joining the occupation of teaching. Then it is helpful for making the students prepared for future pandemic situations. That is why they are promoting online academics at a larger scale. Next, there are few drawbacks also in this. The main drawback what we can think is, as they are giving the degree, some diploma degree after their 2 years of undergraduation degree, some students, they feel that is sufficient for them and they may drop out. That is the first drawback. So language is a negative factor. So as I told you, this time only one student has selected local language degree in engineering, right? That is one of the drawbacks. Language is a negative factor as there is a problematic teacher to student ratio in India. Thus introducing mother languages for each subject in academic institutes is a problem. Then sometimes what will happen is, finding a competent teacher is also a problem. Next, another challenge is bringing the study material in mother languages. Next, as we know, according to NEP 2020, students willing to complete their graduation have to study for 4 years, while one can easily complete his or her diploma degree in 2 years. So this might encourage people to leave the course in the midway. That is one of the major drawbacks. Next, according to the National Education Policy 2020, students of the private schools will be introduced with English at much earlier age than the students of the government schools. That is one more drawback. Even now it is existing. Then the academic syllabus will be taught in the respective regional languages of the government school students, and that is also one more disadvantage. And major new education policy drawbacks. This will increase the number of students uncomfortable in communicating in English, and this will be widening the gap between sections of the societies. To summarize this national education policy, education should be holistic and man-making, life-giving and character-building. So this education can unlock all doors for a progress. A nation advances in proportion to education and intelligence spread among masses. That is why they have taken all higher education institutions as one of the participants, larger participants. This is about the NEP 2020. So at last, you should know primary education is divided into 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, and there will be 4 years degree. Student, if he wants to get a degree in between, after 2 years he will be getting the diploma degree. Then if he continues further, he will be getting undergraduate degree. Then multidisciplinary universities will be established, research universities, teaching universities, and autonomous colleges. These are the three classes of multidisciplinary universities. So if you remember this, and then ABC, Academic Bank of Credits. Remember these things. I think by next week there will be a quiz on this. Okay, and this material will be circulated. This along with one more document we have that will be circulated. Please go through the important things. That is sufficient. Okay, so this is for educating all the students what is there in NEP. That's it. Just we have briefed out what is there in NEP. So if you go through in the document, there are so many things. For school education, you have separate thing, and for higher education, there is separate thing. In detail, if you want, you can go through. Yes? Yeah. Thank you, students.